bell so you're notified. We'll be get ready. Just a second. We'll be get ready. Go live. What's up, guys? This is Big Dru, and this is Titan Lifestyle. Titan Lifestyle, I do this every week at 2 p.m. I talk about therapy of the week. I talk about Titan events. I pick two crazy topics for you guys and girls to talk about, and we're also going to go over some Titan events, new Titan events that we have coming up that I'm very excited about. So first off, let's give some shout-outs. We got Outlaw on here. Shout out to Outlaw. Shout out to Hello Mandu. Shout out to Pew Clayton. Shout out to Scott Gardner, Adam Goddell, Dr. DB773. Where are you guys tuning in from? What city, what state, what country? If you're from another country, give me a flag so I'll give you a shout out as well. Yes, again, this is Titan Lifestyle. I'm doing this by myself today. First, want to give a shout out to John. He's out of the office, crazy, busy owner lifestyle, so he's got plenty of meetings and stuff to attend, so I'll hold it down for him today. Like I do whenever he's out of town. So shout out to him and shout out to Sharice as well. And also Big Peter. Can't call him Little Peter anymore. Got to call him Big Peter because he's now taller than me. So shout out to everybody who's on right now. I'm looking at my phone screen. I'm looking at the iPad. And I also have two more phones and I have a big screen in front of me. So if you guys or girls see me snapping my head all over the place, it's because I'm trying to get to your questions. So get your questions ready. First question always gives a shout out. And also what I'm going to start doing either this week or next week, what I'll do is first person, first question actually is going to get a t-shirt. So if you're in the area, you can come by, grab a t-shirt. You can contact me as well. Let me know your shirt, style, size, color, what you need. So we'll get these questions going in just ahead. Let's go ahead and jump into therapy of the week real quick. If I could have Brian pull it up on the screen for me so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We have therapy of the week every week. It's basically just like I go over one of the Titan products that we have. And I just go into detail about it. And chances are you'll get a discount. Sometimes we give discounts for this stuff as well. So therapy of the week this week is GLP-1 Tesamorelin bundle. You guys know Tesamorelin. I've talked about it in the past. It targets belly fat. So anybody out there that's trying to target specifically their belly fat, want to get a tighter waistline. Obviously, diet and exercise helps as well, but Tesamorelin is probably the number one thing that we have patients coming to right now that pretty much want a flatter stomach or a smaller waist. Usually, if you want a flat stomach, smaller waist, you're trying to lose body fat all around, so it does that as well. Helps with rejuvenation, helps with healing. It's going to help you recover faster as well. Similar properties to IGF-1 in terms of what it does to your body, but with that specific stomach fat targeting, where it targets specifically your stomach fat, you will notice drastically a difference. So I think that's why the main buzz right now is kind of shifted from Tesamorelin, from IGF to Tesamorelin. IGF is still one of my go-tos here at Titan, but if you're looking for something specifically for your waistline, having trouble there. So if you've been dieting, doing everything the right way, eating the right foods, taking other products, but you just can't get that belly fat off, this is something that's going to help you target specifically your belly fat. Now, you could also combine this with the Titan Medical prescribed fat-burning cream. So if you buy our fat-burning cream, you rub the fat-burning cream on your core and take this with Tesamorelin, then you're going to get increased waist shrinkage. I take pride in having a small waist. Anybody can be big, but it's hard to have a small waist. Usually you're judged off of your core. So it doesn't matter how big or small you are. If your core is tight, it pretty much just determines whether you're in shape or not, or whether you look good, to most people or not. So that is what it is with Tesamorelin and GLP-1, I should say. So if you guys or girls are interested in that, call 727-389-3220. We service all 50 states. So just call that number. Let us know what you need. And if you need blood work, call that same number. Let them know I sent you. I'll give you $70 off for men and $100 off for women for blood work as well. So let's jump into one thing. Do I have Bobby? First question of the day. So Bobby, let me know your t-shirt size. Or if you have a wife, girlfriend that wants a women's t-shirt as well too, let me know t-shirt size, style, cut. We have tank tops. We have different styles of t-shirts. So again, first question on my show gets a free t-shirt from now on. So if you're in the area, let me know. You can come by and grab a t-shirt. Or if we need to get it out to you, we could probably do that as well. Just let me know your address. Obviously, don't put your address on the screen. I've had people say that before where I do giveaways. I look up on the screen and people say, here's my address. I mean, you really don't want to do that. Let people know you live like that. So, Bobby, first question. Do you have any knowledge on S23? I have a little bit of knowledge on S23. I've never taken it. I'm not a fan of it with the research that I've done on it. And again, this is something that's not doctor prescribed. It's kind of like a research peptide thing. So you want to be careful whenever you're doing something that's not doctor prescribed. Another thing with S23 is, like I said, it's coming from research peptides, so you don't really know the quality of the product you're getting. You don't know if it's FDA approved. You don't know the long-term side effects of it. So, I mean, it basically does similar things to MK677. It mimics the activity of testosterone in the body. But again, if you're looking for a better, safer alternative from S23, I would go with MK677 or HRT. I mean, if you're looking for something that mimics testosterone, why not just go the 100% with 100% testosterone, which is HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy or testosterone replacement therapy. So rather than get something that mimics testosterone, you could actually get the actual testosterone, which is easier to judge, it's doctor prescribed. And when we check your markers, we can let you know where you're at, and we could actually give you certain things to make you healthy while taking your testosterone, as opposed to S23, which is not something that's prescribed. And then now you have to worry about side effects. And not only that, since it's not prescribed, you're not having a medical provider telling you how to take the product, or, you know, troubleshooting if you have any areas, any issues, I should say. So again, MK67 over S23. And if you're looking for something to mimic testosterone, just take HRT or testosterone therapy. If your blood work is done, your testosterone levels are low, chances are medical providers and doctors will write you a prescription for testosterone only if you're low. Not because you fill out paperwork or not because you heard we give it out. That doesn't work like that. So that is what it is. User 579-287-1277-893. That's a long handle, by the way. But how do you stop face bloat on higher tests? So they're asking about how do you stop your face from being bloated on higher amounts of testosterone. Now, going into why you're taking high amounts of testosterone, you're not going to take, if you're going through a medical provider and you're being prescribed, you're not going to have over usage of testosterone. So I'm assuming this person is talking about taking testosterone on their own outside of a HRT dosage. If that is the case, the reason why your face is bloating is probably because your estrogen levels are high. When you take testosterone, too much testosterone, your estrogen levels will go up. And when your estrogen levels are up, it's going to cause your face to bloat. It's going to cause nipple puffiness and soreness. Your breast development can actually cause breast tissue to develop. You could have oily skin, acne, body fat, water retention. So the water retention around your face is usually because of high estrogen related to too much testosterone in your body. Now, this one person is saying Arimidex, otherwise known as anastrozole. So if you hear me talk about Arimidex, all it is anastrozole. So the actual ingredient is anastrozole. So if you get your prescriptions here from Titan, it's going to say anastrozole. Arimidex is kind of like the company name that made it, so now that's what people call it. So now that we got that out of the way, they're saying Arimidex doesn't help. If Arimidex is not helping your bloat, then I would definitely get your blood work done. Anastrozole is a pretty strong estrogen antagonist where it's going to actually limit the testosterone in your body. So if that's not helping, again, get your blood work down, sit down with a medical provider, go over everything and maybe other underlying issues. You don't want to up your anastrozole dosage on your own without talking to your medical provider as well. So that's another thing too. Do you know your test levels? Yes, I do know my test levels. My test levels stay between 8 and 950, which is optimal. You want to be around 8 to 950. Some places say 1,000, some places say 600. Here at Titan, for the most part, and again, everyone's different, is we like to keep you between 8 and 900, which is optimal. Meaning that if you come in and your testosterone is 100 or 200, it means it's pretty low, and chances are you're going to get a prescription to get you to optimal levels. Not bodybuilder levels, not Mr. Olympia, not, someone to become my size levels, just, to get you optimal so you're feeling good where you should be. So your sex drive is good, your appetite is good, your recovery is good, your sense of well-being is good. and you're not having any erectile dysfunction. Your libido is good. Everything is on point. Thoughts on primobolan. Nick Hayes is asking me my thoughts on primobolan. Primobolan is a good compound. It's not prescribed, so again, you're taking something illegal. It's something that we don't prescribe here at Titan Medical. I've heard many good things about it, but again, it's not something we prescribe. It's not something that's legal, so I wouldn't recommend taking primobolan. How did you get so swole? I got swole from pretty much eating everything I could possibly eat when I first started. You guys know, or girls know, that I used to just eat McDonald's every day, Ben & Jerry's every day, 10,000 calories a day, 1,000 grams of carbs a day. I basically did that for 7-8 years and built my body up to over 300 pounds. And then after that, I just slowly started dieting and chiseling away. And now I stay about 285, 290-ish, just with a tighter look. So basically, how I got so swole was eating everything I could possibly eat, regardless of body fat and everything. And then once I got to a certain point, now I live a healthy lifestyle. The mass is maintained. I've just kind of chiseled away. Someone's asking, where do y'all get your test levels checked? We actually do blood work in-house now here at Titan Medical. We're located in Tampa, Florida. So if you're in the area, you could actually schedule your blood work and come by and get it done. If you're not in the area, we do service nationwide. So if you're in, say, Texas or California or Louisiana, all you would do is call the number 727-389-3220. You would talk to the medical provider. They will send you to a place closest to your location in your state. Once the blood work comes back to us, not me, here at Titan, once it comes back to Titan, the medical provider will call you, go over your blood work with you, and just make recommendations off of what you need or what you don't need in terms of your blood work. So you don't technically need to be in Tampa to get your blood work done. We do it all over this country. And again, if you need a discount on that, let them know I sent you. Men, 70% off. Women, $100 off blood work. Chris Martin, you said 10,000 calories. Yeah, I was 10,000 calories. I was. So my main thing is every time I would eat something, I would look at the back of it and say, and I would just look and see how many calories it has and just pound the calories. So that included going to McDonald's multiple times a day. That included a pint or two of Ben & Jerry's every day. I mean, we're not talking about clean calories. I would never do this now, but that's basically what I did to just put on so much mass, and now I chisel away. No clean calories. The only way I could get 10,000 calories was from eating that garbage McDonald's and fast food. That's pretty much the only way I could do that, because I couldn't stomach eating so much steak and plain rice all day long. I'd be eating all day long. Does the question have to be Simply Deep 1985 says, does the question have to be topic related? Absolutely not. You could ask me anything. We'd like to keep it a PG show, so don't get too crazy. But yeah, you can pretty much ask me anything. It could be health, fitness. I mean, it could be anything. I can't say I can give you the correct or right answer, but yeah, there's never a wrong answer on this. There is wrong questions, but there's, you know what I mean. You can pretty much ask me whatever you want to ask me. JES7320, does Titan Medical provide oral BPC 157? The BPC we have here at Titan Medical is injectable. It's water-based. It's compounded. You can compound it yourself. But yes, it's water-based. It's usually injected with an insulin needle, a 30-gauge, half-inch needle. And we recommend patients doing it closest to the pain. But again, it's an injectable and it's water-based. Shout out to Tony on here. Got Antonio on here. Shout out to Alex Corrales. Shout out to T-Girl. Shout out to Levy. Shout out to Ezio. And shout out to Loli. Let me see who else is on here. Simply Deep said, you seem like the type of dude that's not easily persuaded into something spontaneous. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. Yeah, it is a different question. Persuaded? Not really. I'm pretty stern in my beliefs. So in terms of me being persuaded, no. But again, I am spontaneous, but I don't think I'm persuaded, if that answers your question at all. Any other questions on here? Let's see what else we got. Coach, Charlie Coach just joined. Shout out to them. Bobby, shout out to Bobby. Fit Girl, Levy Lifts. I'm going to jump into one of the topics today. Actually, let's do a quick recap of Tampa Pro. Last weekend was the Tampa Pro here in Tampa. We sponsored the event. We were the title sponsor of the event. So shout out to Tim Gardner for putting on another great event. This year was a 3-day show, so a little bit longer in the days, but it was actually a little bit less crowded and less clutter, which is a good thing. So shout out to Tim Gardner. We had a great time over there. The girls passed out T-shirts, met a lot of great people. And again, Titan Medicals presents the Tampa Pro. So the next thing we'll be doing is the Hurricane Pro. Hurricane Pro is, and again, this year is a 2-day show. Last year was only a 1-day show. Because it's getting so big, we're going 2 days this year. So, yep, Hurricane Pro's in October. It's a 2-day show. Come check it out, Titan Medical. And again, I'll go through more of the events at the end of the show, but that's what we have so far in terms of bodybuilding. Simply Deep said, smart man for that. Appreciate you. King Shepherd said, hey, was at the top of my game at one point. What you recommend after missing over a year? First thing I would say is, why did you miss a year? Was it work? Was it school? Did you get married? Did you have a baby? Was it an injury? That plays a big factor into you getting back into it. If it was a major injury, that might be a little bit different. But if you just kind of lost motivation, kind of stopped going into the gym and eating, there's plenty of ways to gain motivation. But bottom line is, you said you were at the top of your game. So if you're at the top of your game, that tells me that you know what you're doing. And it tells me that at one point you had a plan or you had a program. So pretty much if you're at the top of your game and then now you're figuring out how to get back to your top of your game, just do what you did before to get to the top of your game. So you know what it took to get there, and pretty much just do it. I mean, it's not too much thinking involved. If you haven't been injured or you haven't had any life-changing experiences or relocating or lack of a gym or lack of the right food, if you know everything you have to do and you're at the top of your game, you might as well just do it again. Just get right back. I mean, you know what to do. You got the blueprint. The best part about that is you've been there before, so you know it's possible. A lot of times people, they never realize they can get to their potential, whether it's work, school, their body. So now you know what it took to get to there. So just literally just let history repeat itself. Make a 180, go back and do it all over again. Be at the top of your game all over again. Who else is on here? Let's see. Jess7320. Shout out to Jess7320. She always asks good questions, good detailed questions. So how long can you use Hercules Potion after expiration date? I got some about 6 months after the date. I got sick and had to stop working out and using supplements for a while. Now, I would recommend not taking it after the expiration date. That's the reason why there is an expiration date. Now, if you take it, is it still going to work? It should. The only thing that's going to happen is it may lose potency. If it's been stored correctly, and again, I don't recommend this. If it's past expiration date, you should not do it. But I'm just letting her know that, she's not going to get sick from taking it, or it's not going to cause any infections or anything like that. If it was stored properly from the time you got it, if it hasn't, Hercules Potion does not have to be in the fridge. And it doesn't have to be constituted. So it means when we send it to you, it's already ready to go in the bottle. And it could be stored at room temperature. So it could be in the cabinet. It could be anywhere. If it's been out of direct sunlight, and that's the reason why we put it in the brown amber bottles. If it's been out of direct sunlight, and it's been at room temperature, and the bottle hasn't been contaminated, the top of the bottle is clean, it's use alcohol wipe to wipe it off when you use it, it's not going to cause any problems. It's not going to cause any infections. Now, if you've used the same needle more than once or twice and you're pushing it back into that same vial, then you might have some problems, but that's not so much with the Hercules Potion. That's just because there's been bacteria in that bottle for those amount of months. So that's why I always recommend using new needles every single time. People say, it's my body, it's just not going to make a difference. It is going to make a difference, because every time that needle is exposed and have to go back in again, there's bacteria in the air that can cause that. So again, if as long as it's been stored correctly, I wouldn't recommend using it, but if you use it, you're not going to have any serious health problems, and you're not going to have, any abscess, or it's not going to, not do what it's supposed to do. Richard Liff said, bet on clomiphene with you guys and feel great. Just want to see if there's a bigger difference. Bigger difference in terms of what? I would have to know what we're comparing the bigger to. So, and clomifene's a great compound. It's good at sparking your natural tests. It helps with testicular atrophy, and which is actually shrinkage of the testicles. So it can actually help with that. Helps with sex drive. It actually helps your testosterone levels go up. So even if you're not on HRT and you start taking enclomiphene, you will see your test levels go up. And an advantage of enclomiphene over HCG is that enclomiphene is a capsule. So you just pop a capsule in the morning and you don't have to worry about injecting yourself. You don't have to worry about storing it in the fridge. You don't have to worry about traveling it. You don't have to worry about it going bad. So I think enclomiphene's better all around. It's easier to use and safer for you. HCG also raises your estrogen drastically. It did it with me. I've seen it done with patients. So if you're estrogen sensitive, that's another reason why you'd want to go with enclomiphene over HCG. Bear is asking, what's up, Big Dru? When you take your Hercules potion, do you put it into the muscle group or going to work, or the same spot intramuscular? Now, Hercules potion, believe it or not, is systematic. So if you put it into your body, you're going to get veins in everywhere. But it does help with localized pump. And what I mean by that, if you're doing your biceps, inject your biceps. If you're doing your calves, do your calves. If you're doing your chest, do your chest. It's basically just going to get the ingredients to the muscle faster. And I actually notice more of an intense pump when I actually spot inject the direct muscle before I train. Now, again, people hearing this, they're saying, what is he talking about, injecting his muscles? Hercules potion is aminos. It's all aminos. So it's nothing anabolic. It's not a steroid. It's not water-based. So if you hear me talking about taking Hercules potion, I'm not injecting steroids into my muscles. It's basically the same as branched-chain amino acid powder that you would buy at the store that has a whole bunch of fillers and garbage and dyes and makes your stomach ache. That, basically pharmaceutical grade, into an injectable directly to the muscle. So it doesn't interfere with your food. It doesn't make you use the bathroom before you work out like a lot of these products do. And again, the pump is insane. Like, the pump is insane. Let's try putting your biceps, one in each bicep, and go do curls. You can use half the weight, half the reps, and have a pump for twice as long. Anybody else on here? Who is Brian? Is it easier for gains to come back after stopping? Or am I just under the placebo effect? After not working out for 6 months, I feel like my strength came back way thicker or way quicker. Yeah, it's muscle memory. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with the term muscle memory, but basically if your muscle has done something in the past, it becomes familiar. So even if you stop and start doing it again, it basically triggers it to, oh, I've done this before. So it's called muscle memory. So yeah, it's easier to get gains after coming back after stopping, but it's actually harder. I mean, it's a lot harder. It'll be a lot better if you didn't stop at all. In other words, if someone gains 30 pounds of fat and then now they want to lose the fat and look good, they're better off just not gaining the 30 pounds of fat and gaining the muscle tissue that they want. So that's why I don't really believe in dirty bulking anymore, because all you're doing is putting a whole bunch of fat and water in your body to take it off again. Why not just keep it off, eat clean, and just gain small intramuscular gains instead of just making the scale move all the time? King Shepherd, this question may have been asked, what supplements you recommend to start things off? It depends what you want to do. Not everybody wants to do what I want to do, and I don't want to do what everyone else wants to do. So what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve with these supplements? And then I could basically give you, I'm not going to tell you to take something if that's not the avenue you want to go. So what's the avenue you want to go? Like, briefly, you want to burn fat, build muscle, gain weight, lose weight, whatever it is. And then I could, give you a quick rundown, but I'm not going to give you too much free information because, again, meal plans and supplementation, all that is something that I coach for. So I'll give you small insight here, but if you need more, you have to contact me directly. Build muscle. Okay, King Shepherd saying he's looking for build muscle. Are you looking for over-the-counter supplements, or you like recommendations here at Titan? Now, if you're looking for recommendations here at Titan to build muscle, first HRT. Make sure your testosterone level is in the right place so you can gain the muscle. Also, here at Titan Medical, I would say MK677, which I believe is the strongest, fastest muscle builder that we have. If you have problems eating, if you have problems sleeping, this is what to take. This is what makes the scale go up more than anything for me. It's not just about the scale. The mirror looks crazy too, But I'm just letting you know, if you're looking for serious muscle, MK677 along with HRT. Now, in terms of diet, I mean, just eat a clean diet, maybe some creatine. That's about it. But you don't really need too many. You don't need to be popping 100 vitamins a day. As long as you're eating quality food, taking your HRT, training, resting, you'll definitely build muscle. Um, I'm not sure how to answer this question. Someone said, "How would you handle the type of an embarrassing moment that'll get you heckled by your peers?" I guess just laugh with them. If something happens and you're embarrassed, they start laughing, and you try to smooth it out, just start laughing with them. That's what I would do. I mean, if you trip and fall, people start laughing, just start laughing with them. Be like, "Oh, that was crazy. I almost killed myself." You kind of like, just kind of like laugh with them. That's one thing I would say. Bear says, "Can you take MK677 while cutting? My understanding, your appetite will definitely increase on it." Now, you can take MK677 while cutting. It's very hard. I'm not going to lie. It's very hard. And MK677 does increase lean muscle tissue, not just muscle tissue, lean muscle tissue. He hit it on the head where he said, it's very hard for people to control their appetite. When I take MK677, I literally eat anything that's in front of me. So I have to make sure there's nothing in front of me I don't want to eat. But if your diet's on point, if you're hardcore strict with your diet and you're strict with everything, then yeah, you should definitely be able to stay lean on it. I want to know when someone's going to be able to do that, because I have a lot of people that they try it and they eat too much, or they cheat, or this and that, or blame someone else for the food they ate. So yeah, you could definitely stay lean on it. Just get that diet on point, your rest on point, and you may even need to go into a calorie deficit slightly while on MK, just to be able to maintain that leanness. And then the MK is going to keep your muscles, going to keep your fullness. You're not going to lose muscle on it. But yeah. Thanks for answering my question. It also depends on the situation as well. Yes, very true. Sunbum, you mentioned HRT, that a supplement. HRT is not necessarily a supplement. HRT stands for hormone replacement therapy. Some places say testosterone replacement therapy. What that means is if you're low in testosterone, what we do is we give you testosterone to get your body to an optimal level, which is like a normal level, a level where you should be, not Mr. Olympia, not muscle everywhere level, just feeling good. Men, you lose testosterone when they hit a certain age, their sex drive goes down. Their libido, which is their sex drive, it kind of diminishes. Their appetite kind of goes away. Their recovery, they say, "Man, I used to be able to go to the gym. Now I'm sore for 2-3 days," and your testosterone is very, very low. So that'll help with all that. Sugar Daddy said HRT is the same as TRT. It can be. HRT is you're replacing your hormones, and TRT is you're replacing testosterone. Now, testosterone is a hormone, so some places say HRT, some places say TRT. So to me, it pretty much is the same thing. If someone were to ask me if I'm on HRT, I'd say yeah. If they were asking me if I'm TRT, I would say yeah. So for me, it's pretty much the same thing. If anybody out there that thinks otherwise or can explain otherwise, I'd love to know. I mean, I don't know everything, but I would love to know the difference, if there is a difference. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as I've been told, that's pretty much the same thing. You're just replacing testosterone, which is replacing a hormone in your body. What else we got? Anybody on here? Shout out to Amanda. Shout out to Carolyn. Shout out to A Mud. Shout out to Yuri. Shout out to Tom. Shout out to KPM. See if I got any questions on here. A lot to read in front of me. Just let me go over everything real quick. All good, simply deep. No need to apologize. Like I said, no question is bad. Just keep it clean, what you did. So no need to apologize for that question. It's good to get non-health and fitness related questions every once in a while too. Switch it up. So obviously, I'd like to get the health and fitness and Titan therapies first. But every once in a while, if someone asks something, I could be like, "Oh yeah, that'll work," or talk about something else. I'm not a counselor. I'm not anything like that. But I do like to talk, and I do like to analyze, and I do like to research. Kyle Roach said, "Is Novadex a good PCT?" Novadex, which is also known as tamoxifen, we prescribe tamoxifen here. So if you ever hear me talk about tamoxifen, it's basically Novadex. Novadex is like the old school name that people use. It's kind of like Advil is ibuprofen. The actual ingredient is ibuprofen, even though Advil makes it. Novadex was one of the original companies that made tamoxifen, so now people call it that. So in other words, Novadex or tamoxifen, it is good for PCT, but there's better options. Um, yeah, there's better options for PCT. I would not recommend Clomid. A lot of times people say Clomid, Clomid, Clomid. Tamoxifen it does help a little bit for PCT, but again, there's better options. What side effects have you had with HRT, hair loss, etc.? Side effects I've had, I mean, I was losing my hair before I started HRT. I started losing my hair actually I was like young. I was like 20, 21, 22. My hairline just started going back and back. And finally, I just said, I'm taking it all off. So I haven't been affected with it, so I couldn't tell. I mean, it wasn't like I started HRT with a full head of hair and now I don't have it, so I can't really tell. I haven't heard of people having that much hair loss with HRT. Now, if you're abusing testosterone and other anabolics, then yeah, maybe you may have your DHT and all that may be out of whack. But if you're taking it correctly, you're not really going to have hair loss with HRT. We do have stuff for hair loss. We have a Titan cream. We have other stuff like that too. So if you're thinning out in your hair, men or women, and you need to get that hair thicker before it's fully gone. Now, if it's fully gone, there's no follicles, there's pretty much nothing we could do. But if as long as there's follicles there and there's peach fuzz or hair there, we could thicken that up. So call 727-389-3220. Let us know how we can get you some hair cream and thicken up your stuff. I know a couple guys actually use it on their beard. I haven't used it. My beard, the hair on my face is just so thick, I don't need it. But a couple guys were like, they had thinner beards. They started losing on their beard. They're like, yeah, I can actually tell. It looks darker. It looks like almost like I dyed my beard. So, hey, whatever works. Would TRT cause infertility? No, it wouldn't, because TRT done correctly through a medical provider, if you have any type of issues, they would give you on clomiphene or HCG. HCG was actually like in reproductive medicine. I used to know people in reproductive medicine, and they used to use HCG. They would give a man HCG basically if his sperm is not giving his wife or girlfriend pregnant, so they'd use HCG. So in terms of fertility, HRT done the right way wouldn't cause that. Infertility is going to be if you get some testosterone on your own, you start taking it unprescribed, way high too of a dose for too long periods of time, you don't control your estrogen, then maybe. Or if you take other stuff with it, then maybe. So a lot of the things you hear about people being infertile is because they're not being 100% honest with their doctor, and they're basically just saying like, all I'm doing is testosterone, but they're doing a whole bunch of other stuff, and then now they're infertile, so they think it's the testosterone. So if you're being honest with your doctor, medical provider, and you're taking it as you should, then you're not going to be infertile. Because part of HRT is replacing your hormone. So even if you're not looking for testosterone increase for all the benefits of it, you may need clomiphene or HCG just to get your natural right, so then you could be fertile. Ramrod said, "What are the better options for PCT?" It just depends where your levels are at. You could take small things that's, or it depends where your levels at. Whenever I hear people say PCT, it depends how long and how much you were doing something, and again, it depends on your level specifically. There's no set way. I mean, there's protocols you can Google and do this and that, but if your testosterone is so far gone, or say your hemoglobin or other stuff is just way out of whack, it may take a little bit longer. It may take a different compound, so everyone's different. The Real Ocean Man said he started a calorie deficit a month ago, and now my weight is stagnant. Went from 231 to 218. So you're basically saying that your weight... Are you looking to lose more weight? Because if you're just worried about weight, look at your body. Look at the mirror. The scale lies, but the mirror doesn't lie. I've had clients that they've been the same weight for 6-7 weeks, and their body has completely changed, and it kind of threw them off. Where they're like, "I'm stepping on the scale, I'm the same weight, but I'm looking like this." So I'm the same way. I don't step on the scale anymore unless I have to. I just go off the mirror. So don't worry about the weight. Worry about the look you want, and just make adjustments to the mirror every day. Nice. Ramrod says he's on TRT right now. It's good news. How are you feeling with TRT? How are you feeling? And it's your first time taking TRT. A lot of times people, first time taking TRT, they're like, whoa, I feel great. I feel young again. I feel my wife likes me more, all that. So sometimes, how do you like the TRT if you just started? Any other questions related to Titan therapies? Titan therapies, whether it's therapy of the week, any other not testimonials, but you guys, you got any updates to therapies you guys have started taking? A lot of different people on right now, a lot of screens I'm going between, so let's see if we could jump into upcoming events. Let's jump on these events. The Olympia is coming up October 10th to October 13th. It seems like it used to seem like it was a year away. Now it's getting closer and closer. I think we're like 10 weeks, 9 to 11 weeks or something like that now. The Olympia is going to be in Vegas. Titan, we will have a booth, a huge booth, a lot bigger this year. It's at a lot better venue this year too. So come by the booth, grab a t-shirt, take some pictures, vibe it up. It's going to be a great time. And again, that's 10/10, 10/13. Like I said, the Hurricane Pro is a week after. So as soon as I get back from Vegas, I'll be here for a week, and then I'm off to St. Pete for the Hurricane Pro. It's a 2-day show this year. So couple years back, or the past couple years, it's been such a big show that it goes real late, and it's kind of a longer day. So shout out to Tim Gardner for actually making the adjustments and making a 2-day show so everybody can enjoy the show and not have to rush things and take time with it. So I'll be out there for 2 days. That's going to be 10/18 to 10/19. After that, Cars and Couture. That's 11/16, November 16th, Cars and Couture. Huge car show. The Titan cars will be there. The Titan Lambo will be there. The Titan McLaren will be there. And the Titan Hellcat will be there. Maybe more Titan stuff too. Maybe the Escalade. But yeah, all the Titan fleet will be out there. There's going to be plenty of cars out there. It's a family event. Bring the wife, bring the kids, walk around, take pictures with insane cars, $1 million cars, $2 million cars. It's a great time. There's always food, and the atmosphere is insane. So that's Cars and Couture. That's the last event we have so far. That's 11/16. Any more events coming up, just call the office. You could also sign up to our newsletter, and you get all the information you need without even having to call. We'll just send you stuff. King Shepherd, what is that number to place an order? The number is 727-389-3220. Again, that's 727-389-3220. We service all 50 states except for Idaho. But if you're in Idaho and you need Titan medical product, we could also ship to a neighboring state, and then they could ship to you as long as the proper paperwork is done. That's 100% legal, so we're not, they cut corners. No, we can send it there, and they can send it to you. So if you're in the U.S., we'll get it to you no matter what. Bear, what is the best time to take MK677? Depends what your goals are. If MK677 is making you eat too much, then you'd want to take it at nighttime, because that way you're not going to be overeating because you're going to be sleeping. And it also helps a little bit with your sleep. So if you're overeating, take it at nighttime. It's going to help you sleep better and not eat as much. If you're undereating and your main reason for taking it is you just want to get big, you just want to eat, take it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. That's how I do it. I mean, this isn't the technical way. This is just how I do it. I wake up first thing in the morning, I take MK, I look at my watch, and I say I'm not eating for 10, 15 minutes. I let it kick in. I let that kick in, empty stomach. About 10 minutes after I take that, I'm making my food, and I'm eating all day long. It stays. I'm going to eat a meal. An hour later, I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to be eating. Just eat clean food. You'll be best to go. So quick overview. If you're overeating, take it at night. And if you want to eat more, take it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. A lot of people on. A lot of people on. Let's see what I have here for the... We'll jump into one of these topics real quick. I hear this all the time, especially now since we have semi-gluten now. Shout out to Big Staples on. Shout out to Curtis. I see you just joined. Shout out to Curtis too. I see your phone calls, but I've been in the office. I've been busy. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Shout out to my boy Curtis. But so diabetes run in your family? Diet, exercise can still prevent it. So I hear this all the time. I'm a diabetic. My mom's this. You could fight that. I feel like diabetes is not hereditary. It's dietary. What I mean by that is if you've been eating crappy processed food and sugar and everything junk your whole life, you're going to literally turn yourself into a diabetic, especially if you're feeding children all this stuff before they hit puberty. It's like you're literally turning them into a diabetic. So what we're saying is that it even if you have diabetes in your family and everyone's a diabetic for years and years, whether they're overweight or whatever, you could fight that with clean eating. If you eat clean over a prolonged period of time, you could actually fight that. So don't look at it as a crutch. I hear people all the time, well, I'm a diabetic, so I could, whether they're overweight, I'm a diabetic. Okay. Well, I'm a diabetic. I'm a diabetic. Like, take that word out of it and just start eating clean, and you can literally turn it around. And even if you are a diabetic, I'm not saying you're not going to be a diabetic anymore, but being a diabetic is no excuse to be overweight. Being a diabetic is no excuse to, eat healthy. There's food labels on everything, so there's no reason why you can't eat healthy. In this country, every time you pick up food, it tells you how much calories, it tells you how much sodium. Like, it has to be on there. So there's no excuse. We're telling you what you're putting in your body. So fight it with clean eating. Just fight, and even when I'm looking at the clinical studies of it, like there's been people that literally have reversed it. They've literally reversed it. Where they've been in one stage and another, where they could change their state of diabetes. So don't believe what people say. Don't just say I'm a diabetic, I'm going to be fat. Don't just say I'm a diabetic, I'm going to eat this. Don't use that as an excuse. And again, just for everybody out there that says, oh, I'm a diabetic, this and that, I could find you a diabetic that eats healthy, that you would never even think is a diabetic, that is 100% natural and eats clean and lives the right way and gets their rest and all that stuff and sunlight and does cardio. And you got to do that. If you have a medical condition, rather than just take, insulin or whatever you're taking for diabetes, just, you could fight that off. You could eat clean. Don't just do that. And again, too, semaglutide. Semaglutide is perfect for people with diabetes, especially people that are morbidly obese or even just obese. If you're 100 pounds overweight and you're a diabetic, semaglutide would be perfect for you, because at that point you just need to get the weight off of you. Now, unless you're 100 pounds muscle overweight, which is very rare, anybody who's 100 pounds overweight needs to take some semaglutide if they're not getting the results from diet and exercise. So that right there will help pull the weight off. Once you pull the weight off, then you can eat healthy. It doesn't mean stay doing whatever you're doing and just take medicine. Again, I believe that diabetes is not hereditary. I believe that it's dietary. So don't believe the hype, or don't just say, oh, well, I'm a diabetic, so I'm going to do this, or I'm going to this, or my mom was this, or my mom was that. If your dad was a severe alcoholic, does that mean you have to be one? No. So if your dad or mom is a diabetic, that doesn't mean you have to live the way they live and look the way they live. Look the way they look, I should say. So it is what it is. Shout out to David Bless on here. Just said, hey, Drew, let me get a time check real quick. 2:53. We're coming up to a close. It's getting close. We only have an hour here. I don't want to get bumped off. So I'm going to give some more shout outs before I take off. Any other questions that come up in the next couple minutes, I'll answer. So, here we go. Will MK677 or HRT affect you in any way if you had a blood clot? I believe it would. I actually believe it would. I'm not sure 100%. Again, I do not know the answer to that, so I'm not going to answer unless I know. I believe it might, but then again, check. I'm not a doctor, but always check. We have someone else says, can children inherit diabetes from their parents? They can inherit diabetes from their parents if they're eating the same food that their parents ate growing up. Like, it's almost like, just like what I said before, if you grew up eating fried this, fried that, processed this, and your whole family is a diabetic, then why would you, and you don't want to be a diabetic and you're not happy with that, then why would you then start feeding your child the same things that made you a diabetic or made you overweight? It's kind of like, and a lot of times I shouldn't, it's bad to say this, but a lot of parents out there, they're mad that they're overweight. So they're just like, oh, well, I'm overweight, so I'll feed my kid whatever. Like, almost like they don't want them to enjoy their childhood because they're overweight. So, yeah, diet is everything. Diet is everything. The Boss Period said, you have something that mimics trend. Let me see. The closest thing we have. The closest thing we have in terms of what it does to your body would probably be HRT combined with high-dose IGF-1. We have 3 different dosaging of IGF-1 LR3. If you do the high dose and take HRT with a clean diet, the way your body will look, that's the closest thing I say to trend. Now, you could throw Tesamorelin in there too because it helps with body fat, but for me, I haven't taken Tesamorelin, so I would say high dose IGF, HRT, and like a real strict diet. A lot of times people will take Tren because they don't want to diet. They're like, oh, I can take Tren, eat anything, and be shredded. So you might be able to get away with that, but you're going to have heartburn, you're going to have insomnia, you're going to have ED, you're going to have night sweats, you're going to have crazy anxiety, you're going to have hiccups. I mean, the list goes on and on, side effects of Tren. So if you just want the mirror to look the same way, IGF-1, high dose, and HRT. I already answered the question for belly. Yes, you can reduce the risk of diabetes if it's common in your family by clean diet and exercise. Are there genetic tests for diabetes risks? I'm not sure. I actually do not know the answer to that. That's actually a really good question. Shout out to Matt Nickel 3. He said, are there genetic tests for diabetes risks? Very good question. I'm going to find out for you. Can diet alone prevent diabetes if you have a family history? Yes. Yes. If you start the diet early, I believe it can. I mean, when I'm saying this stuff, this is in my opinion and stuff that I've seen over the years. I don't believe something just because someone says it. I literally research it. I have this thing where I like to not prove people wrong, but do my research and explain why I feel the way I feel. I feel that as long as you're eating correctly, in other words, if you go to another country where they're eating healthy, they're eating raw food, they're hunting for their food, or they're either picking vegetables or they're killing their meat and eating it. Where's the diabetes there? Where's there diabetes in these countries where you see people walking around barefoot in the woods, hunting their food and, making their clothing, and whether it's a tribe in Africa, a tribe in Brazil, or there's no diabetes over there. So the only diabetes that we see is here. In Japan, diabetes doesn't exist over there. And they have the highest red meat consumption in the world. So, I mean, if you really look at it, it's based off of the food. 100 years ago, there was no diabetes. But then again, 100 years ago, there was no processed food. So, I mean, when you really look at how everything is set up, it's okay, just look at the history. Look at, those are proven facts. Where's the diabetes in this country? But again, where's the processed food in this country? So, shout out to Phil Garcia. Gives a shout out from Love from New York. Shout out to David Bess again. Shout out to Dr. Cooper. What are the options for PCT? Started the calorie a month ago. Yes, the number is 727-389-3220. Justin Raymond, I appreciate it. Christian Dior, appreciate it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. We're about to run over. We have 2 minutes before they kick us off. But shout out to everybody who tuned in. If you're not clicked on our Facebook, make sure you go to our Facebook and follow us. Make sure you go to Instagram and follow us. Make sure you go to YouTube and hit the bell so you're notified of videos like this, and also follow us as well on YouTube, TikTok as well, and I also have a podcast. I'll see you next week. This is Big Dru. Get your question ready for next week. I'll see you.